Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today takes us back to Texas. I know we spent a lot of time in Texas recently with the Tanner Horner trial, which is obviously complete. Verdict, sentencing, and all that. If you missed that, there's a whole playlist for you. I even did a video after the trial just to, recap a few things and just show you what the prosecutor said and all that. But anyway, we're back in Texas for this case, and in fact, we're also a little bit in Italy. And yeah, we're going to get to all of that. This case is kind of crazy. So thank you so much all for being here. Please like and share so others know that we are live right now and they can come and join us over here. Welcome to all my mods, patrons, members, subscribers, anyone new as well. This is a growing community and it's very exciting to see. We're getting closer to the 500K mark, hey, as a community, which is really great. All right, so of course this case comes with a trigger warning because it involves the murder. Yeah, her death was ruled a homicide. The murder of a pregnant woman who was only 38 years old, Christa Gilley. Okay, and this happened in Houston, Texas. So what I'm going to do, as always, is let's start with the presentation, right? Janet said, a case that is crazy, what? Yeah. And in this case now, the defendant will very likely not face the death penalty, and we're going to get to why, right? Thank you so much to everyone who sent me this case as well, because I got my snark suit ready. In fact, before we dive into this, quickly, I want to tell you, we were so ready for Brendan Banfield to be sentenced tomorrow on May 8th, and guess what? He's not going to be sentenced tomorrow on May 8th. It's been moved to June 5th, I think it is. Oh my word. So the defense filed motions and all of that. So we will not be watching that tomorrow together, unfortunately. But we're waiting for Corey Richards sentencing on May 13th. So make sure you subscribe, notifications on. And also, if you want reliable notifications, you can also sign up for a free Patreon account and you'll get them there. Sharon Kluter, thank you so much for your South African Rand ZAR sticker. I really appreciate your support. Now, here's how this case starts, okay? On October 7th of 2024, at approximately 11:30 p.m. Hold on, let me move my little logo. I'm so sorry about that. Hold on. Okay, at 11:30 p.m. in a home on Alston Street in Houston Heights, Houston, Texas. Welcome to all locals. 38-year-old Lee Gilley called 911 to report that his wife, Christa, 38, was unresponsive from a drug overdose. So, oh wow, you got a narrative already, bro. Red flag number one. Okay, and the police thought so too. They're like, So their two children, a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son, were also in the home. Houston PD and emergency services responded and Christa was transported to a hospital where she was pronounced deceased. So what a very sad loss, and she was only 38 years old. And it gets worse because she was pregnant. Lee Gilley told the police that they had argued earlier that evening about a major financial decision that he had purchased because he had purchased a 2025 Kia Telluride without Christa's knowledge or consent. Red flag number 2. So you coming in there on the dispatch call already with a narrative of exactly what happened to Christa. And then when the police talk to you, so buddy, what's going on? He's like, well, we had an argument, right? Okay, so he says they went to bed shortly after that. Okay. Now, Christa was 8 to 9 weeks pregnant, so with their 3rd child. Lee Gilley says that, you know what, she had intentionally overdosed on drugs to, take her own life. Wow, your narrative got even stronger, even though later down the line, in later police interviews, he admitted that his wife did not have self-deletion thoughts, nor did she ever take drugs. Kim Gates, thank you so much. You said, I love being here, G. I love it that you're here too. Thank you so much. He told dispatchers that he found her in bed. Now, where was he? Where was he? You know what? We've seen so many of these cases, unfortunately. Was he sleeping in like one of his children's rooms? That's like Corey Richards, Caleb Flynn, you know what I mean? Where were you? What do you mean you found her? In bed. And that he was performing CPR on her. I'm sorry to prejudge him. I don't believe him. Okay, anyway. So at the hospital, staff noted bruising and apparent trauma to Christa's face, which seemed inconsistent with CPR efforts or Lee's account of events. Lee Gilley allegedly told police that, well, you know, sometimes bad things happen to good people. And they're like, okay, let's write that down. Like, what the hell? This guy, oh my word. An autopsy was performed because, you know, the whole case was suspicious. And so the Harris County medical examiner then ruled Christa's death a homicide caused by compression to the neck and upper back, strangulation, with additional face trauma. But he wants people to believe it was a drug overdose intentionally. They also confirmed that Christa was pregnant. Lee Gilley was arrested on October 11th of 2024 and charged with capital murder in the deaths of Christa and the unborn child. And remember, this is Texas, and we know they don't play. We know they don't play. Okay. He's initially held in the Harris County Jail on no bond. But on October 21st of 2024, Lee is released from the jail on a $1 million bond. TF says, you don't believe him? No, I don't. And maybe tell me later, at the end of this episode, do you believe him? Do you believe this guy? And I believe it where this guy said. Now, that he was held on no bond. So arrested pretty quickly after Christa died, right? Okay? Held on no bond. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. But then, on October 21st, after a bond hearing, he was released from the jail. Stop it. And you'll hear why. So the conditions included wearing a GPS ankle monitor, house arrest restrictions, no contact with his children or Christa's family, and he was to surrender his passport. He was not allowed to leave Texas without the court's permission. Now check this out. Okay, are you ready?
Residents in the Heights tell us that they are shocked to hear about a murder happening in their own neighborhood. And today was supposed to be Lee Gilley's first court appearance on charges of killing his wife, but that date has been reset for later this week.
Could you please stand, Mr. Gilley?
38-year-old Lee Mongerson Gilley behind bars, accused of killing his wife in their home in the Quaint Heights neighborhood.
Mr. Gilley, you have been charged with the felony offense of capital murder on the basis of homicide of multiple victims. That's a capital felony.
It is alleged that the defendant took the life of his pregnant wife. They also have some young children in the home.
According to police, Gilley called 911 claiming his wife, Christa Gilley, committed suicide, but her injuries contradicted his story. Hospital physicians and the medical examiner saying her injuries were consistent with strangulation. Court documents state Lee Gilley intentionally caused his wife's death by applying pressure to Christa Gilley's neck and upper back. They also say he intentionally caused the death of an unborn child by applying pressure to his wife's neck and upper back while Christa Gilley was pregnant with their unborn child. Records show she was 9 weeks pregnant. During probable cause court on Saturday, Lee Gilley asked for bond twice, but was
Look how he asks, okay? So he was initially denied bond. That was at this hearing. But later he was granted bond. He got a $1 million bond and bonded out with those conditions, right? Check this out.
Denied.
I'd like a bond today.
I understand that. I'm not setting a bond today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Neighbor Christine Anderson.
Oh my word! He's like, I'd like a bond today, and the judge. That was the second time he asked. The judge was frustrated. Like, I understand that. I'm not giving you a bond today. He's like, yes, ma'am. Like the tone in that courtroom. Hello, I'd like a bond today. It's like, dude, what are you trying to order flapjacks? What's going on? I like that today, please. How about now, ma'am? Wow. Okay, let's watch the rest of this clip quickly.
And says she's lived across from the Gilley's home for 4 years and she's never heard any disturbances coming from across the street.
I'm just in complete shock. She was just a great neighbor.
To hear that she had, she also was pregnant, I could just start crying. I've been thinking about her all morning. And I just feel bad.
Lee Gilley's bond will be reconsidered on Thursday, but until then.
And it was reconsidered, and he was granted bond, unfortunately. I know it's his right. Someone's going to tell me, Gisela, it's his right. I know, but let's have a look at what he did with that, shall we? You want to see what he did with that, huh? You want to see how effective this ankle monitor was. Okay, let's continue then, shall we? Here we go. So January 28th of 2025, Lee Gilley was arraigned. April 7th of 2025, a grand jury indicts Lee Gilley on capital murder charges. So, okay, so now we're going to trial. April 2026, fast forward, right? April 2026, this year, not long ago. Prosecutors filed notice of intent to introduce extraneous offense evidence at trial, including a March 2024 Reddit post in which Gilley allegedly said he was bored in the marriage and sought a college-aged woman for a friends with benefits arrangement, and alleged communications about fleeing the country. We're going to look at documents as well in this episode so that we can get more details on that, right? Early April of 2026, the court granted Lee Gilley temporary permission to travel to South Carolina to visit ill family members. So you already let him, like the leash got a little longer there. Mid-April 2026, a trial date was formally set with jury selection scheduled to begin May 29th of 2026. This was ready to go to trial, like to have opening statements early June. Anyway, May 2026, early May 2026, he was scheduled for a motion hearing. The week that he fled. The hearing proceeded without him after he cut off his ankle monitor. Okay. May 1st of 2026. Today's date is May 7th of 2026. So this was like 6 days ago. Okay. Guess what Lee Gilley did? At 9:03 p.m., Lee's GPS ankle monitor sends a strap tamper alert. He cut it off and fled. He traveled to Canada. It's unclear how. Some reports say he flew to Canada. Some say they don't know how he got there. Maybe he took a bus. Maybe he drove there. His car was still at the house. So I don't know. Anyway, the point, did he get an Uber? The point is, he traveled to Canada. Then he boarded an Air Canada flight to Milan, Italy, using a fake Belgian passport and a fake name, Jean-Luc Olivier. Yeah, okay. Dude, like, how do you organize that? Where did he get that? How did he know how to do that? What do you mean? The guy's on an ankle monitor and planning all this? That ankle monitor is so effective that they're like, there's a strap alert, strap tampering alert. Maybe we should try to get hold of him. And they try to call him. He's not answering. He's not answering. I wonder where he is. The dude gets to Canada and even manages to board an Air Canada flight. On May 3rd of 2026, he's arriving in Italy. You know, buongiorno everybody. Italian authorities detain him. They give him the side eye at Milan's Malpensa airport after questioning his documents. Okay? So, when he got here to the airport, at least he didn't get further than the airport, because the authorities, they were like, yeah, bro, this looks fake, huh? This looks really, really fake. He admits his real identity, and then he goes into victim mode. Okay. He says he requests asylum and he's claiming wrongful prosecution and fear of the death penalty. And he said he's placed, that's what he said. And then they placed him in immigration custody. That's where he is now, right now. You guys, I can be in Milan in 4 hours. Should I go? I told Mr. Grizzly, listen, there's a jackass there. Okay, I'd like to go there and kick his ass. You know what, dude? Because extradition can take a while. We've seen it with that, what was her name now? Kimberly who now? Kimberly Sullivan, right? Colorado. Is that her name? Wait. Yeah, Kimberly Sullivan. That took like over 2 years, right? Anyway, so I don't know how long extradition's going to take. But he's sitting in Italy right now. He's in Milan. Okay, he remains in custody in Italy. His $1 million bond is revoked. Nah, you don't say. You gotta revoke his bond? Damn, okay. Obviously. And a warrant is issued. He now also faces a new federal charge of unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. US authorities are pursuing extradition, which is complicated by Italy's opposition to the death penalty. Though prosecutors have stated they're not seeking it. I think they were gonna. Texas doesn't play it, but now they're not gonna. At least not for now. Once he's back on Texan soil, do you think they'll seek it? I don't know. I think they're going to have to uphold that they're not going to be seeking it, right? Additionally, Houston police executed a search warrant at his home like yesterday. They're busy there at the house looking at his car, looking at a pizza box. I'm like, what's going on with the pizza box? I don't know. They're there, right? Gentleman says, gee, you could run there. Well, maybe not, but close enough. Go show him your grizzly claws. I could run there. Switzerland is a beautiful and small country, you know, and there's 4 national languages here: German, Italian, French, and Romansh. And what's great about it is that, yeah, within 4 hours, I could literally be in Italy. I could literally be in Milan, okay? I'll go kick this guy's ass. Attend those court hearings. Listen here, bro. He's supposed to be in court tomorrow, apparently. Okay. So, before we get into, let me just see what the next slide is. Hold on one second. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to get into the background of this guy, but I just want to show you another clip here quickly, which is this one. This one, I just want to show you the statement that Christa's family made a year ago. They said Christa was an amazing mother, full of love and excited to welcome her 3rd child. They were taken from this world needlessly and way too early. Christa's family appreciates the outpouring from the community and hopes for justice for their daughter and their unborn grandchild. They are here to support Christa's children and to focus on the memory of their daughter. Family of Christa Gilley. The children. This guy, and if you know, like, you probably already think, what's the motive? This was a alleged lying, cheating scumbag. He was busy on Reddit. He was busy on Instagram. He was pursuing like his cousin's friend's friend type thing. He was peacocking around, you know what I mean? Try to date people, and they all basically got creeped out by him by the sounds of it. But he did manage to have an affair, allegedly, in 2023. So like, but yet also got his wife pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy is just like playing the field, and he just wants out. He wants a new life. He wants to escape. And I think he's a very calculated guy. Okay? He was a self-employed software consultant for 13 to 15 years. And I think he's quite smart and creative. Clearly, he got a Belgian passport. I'm not trying to compliment the guy. I'm trying to say, about a year before all of this, he started being like, oh my word, they're out to get me. They're out to get me. This is a setup. I have to flee. I have to go to Mexico. While talking to some girlfriend about that. And I'm like, oh, you're like premeditating some like insanity defense, huh? In my opinion, this guy was premeditating some form of like, I'm going crazy. Like, yeah, okay. Because people started noticing that he's acting a little different, right? Okay. So, let us quickly, I want to show you this one as well. This is Houston police returned to the home of Lee Gilley to possibly serve a search warrant. They did do that, okay. Hold on one second. So it says, authorities have returned to the home of Lee Gilley, the husband of accused of killing his pregnant wife and then fleeing the US to Italy, where he was later apprehended. So let's read this part here. According to Houston police, they were called to Gilley's home in the Greater Heights area on Alston around 3 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. Officials said that they are there to possibly serve a search warrant. The Harris County District Attorney's Office confirmed they are at the home as part of an investigation. The move comes after Gilley allegedly cut off his GPS ankle monitor. I get you got to say allegedly, but we know he did that, don't we? Okay, sorry. Allegedly cut off his GPS ankle monitor and fled the United States. Court records stated that Interpol Washington received an alert from Interpol Rome regarding Gilley's whereabouts. Officials said that Gilley, who was traveling under the name of Jean-Luc Oliver, landed at the Milano Malpensa airport in Milan on May 4th. I thought it was May 3rd, but okay, May 4th on Air Canada flight 894. So it depends which time zone, hey? Okay, it might have been American time, you know, May 3rd, but like in Italy, May 4th. Okay, on flight 894. What did he think is going to happen? He's going to get out there and be like, pizza, bueno. Okay, no. They're going to side-eye you. They're going to lock you up, bro. Records stated that Gilley presented a passport and other Belgian identification documents to the Milan border police, which were found to be false and forged. Gilley was rejected entry at the airport and then taken into immigration custody. Court records stated that while awaiting deportation, he didn't want that. Gilley admitted his true identity and he was awaiting trial in the US for the murder of his wife. Yes, it was about to start. Court records added that Gilley is in custody with Italian authorities and has claimed asylum. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. Now, let me quickly see what this one is. Wait. Okay, that was when they were back at the house. So now let me tell you about the background quickly here. I'm going to show you more clips and we're going to go over documents. And I see Grizzly Cat's just sent me another document, which is very cool. Thank you so much, Grizzly Cat. We're going to look at all of those. Rayson Ritter said, he has a mouth like Michael McKee. This case does remind me a little bit of that, hey, even though this is the husband of the victim. Yes, he also talks a little bit like Koberger. Anyway, moving on, he is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. Okay, he's claiming asylum and unfair prosecution. Okay, approximately 2007 to 2008, Lee Gilley met Christa while they were seniors at Clemson University in South Carolina. They went on one date during a dance class, but then apparently went their separate ways. Yeah, anyway, so he didn't make a big impact there. 2015 to 2016, about 8 years later, they reconnected in Boston. 2016, Lee then flew from San Diego to Houston and proposed to Christa. I would call that love bombing, based on his profile that I have of him now. Do you know what I mean? Based on how I am judging him, I think he was love bombing a lot. And I don't know what Christa had been through in other relationships in the past, you know what I mean? I just think he rolled in there, that second date 8 years later, and then love bombed Christa. So, January 28th of 2017, Lee and Christa got married in Charleston, South Carolina at the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist. 2020, their daughter was born, and 2022, their son was born. Young children, shaman, who've now lost both their parents. Lee was a self-employed software consultant and developer for about 13 to 15 years. In 2018, he founded Docmo, a software consulting company in Houston, Texas. He specialized in building software products with a strong reputation for Excel or process automation work, sometimes called the Excel guy in professional circles. I don't think he's going to be called that anymore unless one day, if he's convicted, they'll be like, you're the Excel guy, can you help us? Can you help us with some of this jail admin we've got going on here? Prison admin. Can you just, yeah, okay. He previously worked as an instrumentation engineer at Chicago Bridge and Iron Company, CB&I, from 2009 to 2010. Okay, so that's a little bit about him. Now a little bit more about Christa. She was born February 7th of 1986 in South Carolina. She graduated from Clemson University in 2008 with a degree in public health and later earned her doctorate of physical therapy, DBT, from the University of Pittsburgh. She was a highly accomplished, board-certified clinical specialist in cardiovascular and pulmonary physical therapy. She worked as a physical therapist at Memorial Hermann Hospital in the Texas Medical Center, focusing on critically ill patients with heart and lung conditions. She was known as a fierce patient advocate who developed mobility protocols, and she also served as an adjunct professor, instructor of physical therapy at the University of Texas Medical Branch and at the University of Pittsburgh, mentoring future PTs. Kathleen R61 says, playing catch up. Thank you so much for being a member for 37 months. Thank you all for being here as we study this case together, which really, we were actually supposed to be studying this so we could be ready for the trial, but now Jackass is sitting in Italy. Should I go fetch him? I'm still offering. Should I go get him and just kick him out of Italy and back to Texas so he could face the music there, huh? Lee Gilley, 39, remains in Italian immigration custody in Milano, Italy. Italian authorities have asked Harris County prosecutors to formally certify that they are not seeking the death penalty. His defense attorney, Dick DeGurin, has advised him, if contact is made, oh dear, to waive extradition and return voluntarily. Shame his poor attorney. His poor attorney's like, okay, if you hear this, please waive extradition and return voluntarily to speed things up. He allegedly has a hearing coming up May 8th of 2026 in Italy. Should I go? Anyway, I don't know if I'd be allowed to, but anyway, Milano, says Linda Bay, exactly. Ay, vamos, 99. Thank you for being a member for 32 months. Nice to see you in chat. You said thank you for your excellent work. Thank you so much. Okay, so look at him. Look at his face there. Oh my goodness. That is what we know about him. Now, we still have to, I want to show you this. Wait, 1 second. Let me show you this clip quickly. There's 2 clips to show you. Wait, here we go.
Yeah, Joel and Stephania, police investigators have been here since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Most of them have left, but behind me right now you can see this tow truck now taking Lee Gilley's vehicle out of the driveway here. His vehicle has been parked here while the 39-year-old father accused of capital murder is overseas in Italian authorities' custody tonight. I want to show you some video. Only our cameras were here as investigators went through this home. We saw them going in and out of the house. At one point, they actually dumped out the trash can here in the driveway, appeared to be going through several of the documents and things that were in there. They also appeared to even be looking at a pizza box before they left. Then we did see a couple of boxes get taken from this home and put into a vehicle here. The prosecutors, the police department, as well as investigators from the district attorney's office, all of them were here. No one would give us exacts about what they may have taken from this scene. They say it's all part of an ongoing investigation. So at this point, we really don't know what all they seized from this home. Now, like you saw at the beginning of this, they are taking the vehicle of Lee Gilley. And we just learned today that he's now facing a federal charge after he left the U.S. just weeks ahead of his capital murder trial. The feds charging him for that interstate flight.
Really, dude? Really? Look at him. He's like, he was already scheming there. You could see it. Look at him scheming. He's like, you know where I'm going to go? Italy. He was talking about all sorts of things on this guy. Was so dumb. But managed to escape. That's what I think it sucks that he had this ankle monitor and all these conditions and that he actually managed to get away. What the hell? Because he was there on Reddit communicating with, I think, some girlfriend or some lady I was talking to and saying like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to like get a fake passport and I'm going to try escape and I'm going to cut my ankle monitor off. He was saying what he's going to do. Not saying Italy, but saying all sorts of countries. Like, hello, red alert. Reddit alert in this case. You know what I mean? There were signs. Monitor people out on bond very closely. You know who I worry about is that Barry Morphew. Ooh, my. Keep a close eye, people. Anyway,
to avoid prosecution. He's been out on bond since October of 2024 after allegedly killing his pregnant wife, Christa, here at this home in the Heights. We do know that he had to surrender his own passport, but on Sunday, federal investigators say he arrived at the airport in Milan, Italy. He allegedly used the name Lejeune Jean-Luc Olivier, according to court papers, and then presented a passport and other fake documents, Belgian ID paperwork, according to those documents. So now Italian authorities realized that those documents didn't appear to be legit. They then detained him.
Okay, they're saying the same thing. I was just actually trying to show you the search warrant being executed at the home. So, Southern Calibre says, Reddit's gonna get you. Can you imagine Uncle Google in this case? Uncle Google is gonna get you. Can you imagine ChatGPT? Hey, is that who gave him the advice? How can I get a fake Belgian passport? And ChatGPT is like, stop it, ChatGPT, you're very naughty. Angie Lindstrand said, you really are the best. Thank you for such great coverage and all your hard work. Love the snark. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, let's see this one quickly. This is about, how they're going to get him back.
Hey, Alona, good morning. Well, his attorney tells us that he's expected to have a hearing in Italy today. Now, we don't know exactly what will come out of that hearing, but his attorney did tell us he expects to learn more after that. Now, while that plays out overseas, investigators were back here in the Heights yesterday at Gilley's home. Take a look at your screen. Do have some video I want to show you. It's video from outside of Gilley's home here in the Heights yesterday. The Harris County District Attorney's Office confirmed investigators executed a search warrant. Our crew saw investigators going in and out of the home and a vehicle being towed from the driveway. Now, the DA's office did not say what investigators were searching for, and this is the same home where Gilley's pregnant wife, Christa Gilley, was found unresponsive back in October of 2024. She was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead. Gilley was later charged with capital murder and released on bond. Now, his attorney told KHOU11 that he has not spoken to Gilley since he left the country and that this hearing could impact the trial here.
I don't know how long it could take. I'm concerned that it might interfere with the trial, which is still set for the first week in June.
Yeah. Shame, Mr. Defense Attorney. Shame. He's like, I don't know how long this could take. I'm concerned it could affect the trial. It's going to affect the trial. This could take a while. I wasn't trying to rhyme, okay? Could take, I don't know. I thought that Kimberly Sullivan from Colorado, when she fled to the UK, that would be quicker too. Colorado had to say the same thing. We're not going to seek the death penalty. That took 2 years. This could take 2 years, sometimes 5 years, 10 years. I hope not. Get his ass back there to Texas, right? Yeah, so he could face the music. Okay, so that is what we have there. And then, look here. Look what I found here. Oh my word, I was looking him up a bit. I don't want to look him up on LinkedIn. If someone has LinkedIn and you can get me that like screen record or whatever, or download that clip of him speaking, please send it to me. They talk a lot in between the news clips. I don't want to click on LinkedIn because have you guys seen, if you click on LinkedIn, it just like automatically makes you an account. I don't want that. I don't want a LinkedIn account. So if anyone has one, and there is a clip of him on his LinkedIn talking about his work, right? But here's a podcast called codestory.co. And listen, let's just hear him talk just a little bit. Look here.
My Code Story podcast, Lee Gilley, the founder of DocMo. He has a mixed background in mechanical engineering, software development, design, is now founding a startup. Lee, thank you for being on the show today.
Ooh.
Happy to be here.
Before we go too far into DocMo and you know how you got started building this and some of the stories around why.
I won't play the whole thing. I'm going to link it for you though. Okay? Are we all going to listen to this? I haven't listened to the whole thing. I found it right before the live stream and I'm like, oh, we're going to listen to this right afterwards. Homework. Okay?
You built it. Tell my audience a little more about you.
We'll go way back. I grew up on a farm, actually, in South Carolina. So my childhood was partially filled with shooting cow patties with a BB gun. I really, really enjoy the outdoors and working with my hands. And I think that predicated my pursuit of mechanical engineering. Lived in France as a kid as well.
Oh, really?
Alors, je parle un peu de français, but...
So that's where you made up the fake name, did ya? Now, who's the guy whose passport, whose identity you try to steal? What, huh? Is it a friend? Is the plot thickening? I don't know.
Yeah, I started working in the oil services industry, building fuel tanks. Moved around a lot with my first big boy job out of school.
Big boy.
Quit them after 2 years to start my ventures.
I love it. I grew up in a small town.
His first big boy job. All right, well, now you baby boy. Sitting there in Italy like a jackass ordering margarita. You can't have it. You don't get pizza, bro. Okay. Not in wherever he is, in immigration custody. I wouldn't know actually what he gets there. Moving on. Now, everybody, we're getting to the document portion. Hold on one second. I just want to download this new one. Let's quickly do this. Wait. Get it. Excuse me. Can we get that new document? Thank you. It's going to be part of our collection. Here we go. You guys can't see what I'm doing. You're like, what is happening? Okay, let's see what's happening here. This is a brand new document. Let's see it first. Criminal complaint. Thank you, Grizzly Cat, for the documents. I really appreciate it. It really helps my research so much. We love deep dives. We love documents. Okay, so hold on one second. I just quickly have to see one more thing. All right. It says United States of America versus Lee Gilley. I, the complainant in this case, state that the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. On or about the dates of May 1st of 2026 in the county of Harris, in the Southern District of Texas, the defendant violated code section, offense description, interstate flight to avoid prosecution. The criminal complaint is based on these facts. That's a cool signature. Look at this one. Valerie Heinrich, Deputy U.S. Marshal. I like it a lot. Okay, anyway. Moving on, signature envy, that's a good one, hey? Moving on, okay, affidavit in support of criminal complaint, okay. I, Valerie Heinrich, being duly sworn by telephone, hereby depose and say, I am a Deputy U.S. Marshal with the United States Marshal Service, so they're qualifying who's writing this, right? On May 4th of 2026, members of the Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Fugitive Task Force, GCVOFTF or GTOF, get the F out, GTFO. Okay, composed of several law enforcement agencies to include United States Marshal Service, began an investigation into Lee Gilley. Gilley is a United States citizen and a fugitive wanted for the felony offense of capital murder, resulting in the death of Christa Gilley and one unborn child. Capital murder event. On October 7th of 2024 at approximately 11:31 p.m., officers assigned to the Houston Police Department Central Patrol Division responded to a call for service on Alston Street, Houston, Texas. The call was made by Lee Gilley and stated that his pregnant wife, Christa Gilley, the victim, was non-responsive. The Houston Fire Department medics transported the victim to the Greater Heights Memorial Hermann Hospital. The victim was pronounced deceased at approximately 2:25 a.m. on October 8th of 2024. On October 9th of 2024 at approximately 3:18 p.m., Dr. Riley Lochner, MD, let me just quickly read this. Is it just me, but it seems like killers like working itchiest hands? Could be. Thank you so much for your support. So on October 9th of 2024 at approximately 3:18 p.m., Dr. Riley Lochner, MD, MS of the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences determined the victim's cause of death was due to compression of the neck and upper back. On October 11th of 2024, an arrest warrant was issued for Gilley for the felony offense of capital murder in violation of Texas Penal Code. So here you could check my work. You see what I mean? My presentation, is it matching this? Yep. This is a new document. Thank you so much, Grizzly Cat. So it says, and we're going to look at some others as well with some background info, of capital murder in violation of the Texas Penal Code 19.03. In criminal case number, there's a long number there. This case is pending in the 497th District Court, Harris County, Texas. Gilley was released on bond October 17th of 2024. Judge Ziodak said, I wonder if extradition will be relatively fast because he didn't successfully enter the country. That's true as well. Could be. Could be. They could just deport his ass real quick. As long as, of course, Texas can promise Italy that we're not going to sentence him to death. He won't face the death penalty at all. Easy said, working with their hands. Thank you so much. So, defendant's flight. Gilley was scheduled for trial on May 29th of 2026. On May 1st, 2026, Gilley cut off, see, they don't say allegedly. There you go, we got the facts now. Cut off his court-ordered GPS ankle monitor and fled the United States. I wonder if they found it, huh? On May 4th of 2026, the Harris County District Attorney's Office requested assistance from GCVOFTF to help locate and apprehend Gilley. On May 4th of 2026, an arrest warrant was issued for felony offense of capital murder resulting in the death of Christa Gilley and one unborn child. On May 4th of 2026, at approximately 8:40 p.m., Interpol Washington received an alert from Interpol Rome, regarding Gilley's whereabouts. On May 3rd, there you go, 2026, Gilley, traveling under the name of Le Jean-Luc Olivier, landed at Milano, Malpensa Airport in Milan, Italy, on Air Canada Flight 894. Gilley presented a passport and other Belgian identification documents to the Milan Border Police, which were found to be false and forged. They don't like his signature. Gilley was rejected at entry at the airport and taken into immigration custody. While awaiting deportation, Gilley admitted that his true identity was Lee Gilley, and he was awaiting trial in the US for the murder of his wife. They were probably like, okay then. On May 4th of 2026, DUSM Jessica Quintanilla was informed of Gilley being detained. Gilley is currently in custody with Italian authorities and has claimed asylum. Based upon the information as described above and my training experience, I submit that it's probable cause to believe that the defendant is in violation of that code. Interstate flight to avoid prosecution. I agree. Element 1, on or about the date alleged in the indictment, the defendant intended to avoid prosecution for the felony of capital murder. And element 2, the defendant thereafter traveled from one state to another and between one state and a foreign country. And there's the cool signature again. Guilty of this at least. Italiana said, you don't mess with Texas. Linda Bay says, Roma. Exactly. I've been to Italy. I went on Contiki tour once upon a time. A lot of stories from there. We won't talk about those now. Okay, so let's look at this one. This is the state of Texas versus Lee Gilley, and it was dated the 13th of April of 2026, okay? And so it's got some background information about him, about his behavior, which I find quite interesting as well. All right, so are you ready for this deep dive? Like and share if you haven't yet, please, so others also know. We're talking about this and they could follow this case with us because you know. I like to follow extradition cases. That Kimberly Sullivan one, I was like refresh, like daily at first and then weekly and then like, okay, monthly. And then eventually there was the update. Oh my word, she's been extradited. So off we go. If you don't know about that case, just check it out. The state of Texas versus Lee Gilley, otherwise known as that other fake name he made up. State's notice of intention to use evidence of prior convictions and extraneous offenses comes now. The undersigned Assistant District Attorney Jana Oswald and files this notice of intention to use evidence of prior convictions. Oh, tell us more, and extraneous offenses, and would show the court the following. The above mentioned cause is presently pending in this court and is set for jury trial on the 29th of May of 2026, pursuant to Rules 404B and 609 of the Texas Rules of Criminal Evidence, Section 37.07 and Section 38.37 and all those other sections of the Texas Rules of Criminal Procedure. The undersigned Assistant District Attorney hereby gives notice to the defendant, his counsel, Shame his poor counsel. In the court, that the state intends to offer evidence of prior convictions and extraneous offences of this defendant to establish the nature of the relationship between the defendant and the complainant. The complainant is the victim. We learned this from the Texas trial we just covered. Hold on one second. When I breathe in, my throat is like wheezing. Those birch allergies, you know what I mean? Sorry about that. Mel said, I love being a Grizzly. Gee, you're my first YouTube membership. That is so cool. Thank you so much. And thanks for being a member for 26 months. 26 months. Thank you so much. Now, okay, let's check this out. Let's hear the tea here. Well, what we do know so far, right? So it says to establish the nature of the relationship between the defendant and the complainant, impeach the testimony of the defendant, and or enhance the range of punishment of the defendant, as such become admissible. Such evidence may further be admissible for other purposes, including, but not limited to, proving motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, or absence of mistake or accident. And this was before the fleeing. On or about 2019. That's very vague. On or about 2019, the defendant sent an inappropriate direct message via Instagram to Izzy, a friend of his wife's cousin, Jenna Tanavaj. On or about 12/21, the defendant contacted KSM, who had recently opened up a physical therapy clinic. The defendant made KSM uncomfortable by refusing to participate in a physical therapy evaluation and instead bringing food and alcoholic beverages to the clinic. This guy is so freaking creepy. He's like, let me support your new physical therapy clinic and I'll come for an evaluation. And it's like, okay, what time? Shall we say 2 p.m. or whatever, what time it was. And then it's like, arrives with what? Champagne and strawberries? Like, what is this guy doing? Later, the defendant went to a bar with KSM and a mutual friend, LN. While at the bar, the defendant expressed a desire to go to LN's apartment. So now he ditched the person, okay, who opened the new practice. She doesn't like, clearly, his offer. So then he's now on to the next one. He's looking at the friend of that person. Okay, so he expressed a desire to go to LN's apartment and repeatedly kept eyeing LN's keys. The way they write that, man, sounds creepy. He kept eyeing the keys. Go to your apartment. Oh no. After leaving the bar, the defendant attempted to contact LN by phone and text message asking about LN's whereabouts. The defense counsel has a copy of this in the interviews. On or about May 1st of 2023, the victim, ooh, this is a red flag, became ill after consuming a meal prepared by the defendant that evening. Now, we got a lot of nurses, doctors, medical experts here in our community. Please tell me what you think this could be from, okay? Okay, the defendant stated the complainant appeared fine. However, the complainant's father and medically trained neighbor observed that she did not appear fine. The complainant was subsequently treated at hospital where she was diagnosed with a rare condition known as methemoglobinemia. Huh? The anemia part I could get, but it's not the same as anemia. Methemoglobinemia. MET-HB. Doctors ruled out any genetic predisposition or known underlying cause. Doctors were unable to determine the cause of the condition. What poison causes that is basically my question. What causes that? Because there I'm getting James Craig vibes. James Craig is the Colorado dentist convicted of murdering his wife by putting cyanide in her smoothies. Okay. The state of Texas still goes on. We've only got 2 pages left. On or about March 18th of 2024, of more tea, okay? The defendant published a post on the social media platform Reddit stating that he was in a bored marriage and was seeking a college-aged female for a friends with benefits arrangement. Yeah, what a catch he is. On or about October 7th of 2024, the defendant purchased a 2025 Kia Telluride from Archer Kia without the knowledge or consent of his wife. On or about October 6th of 2024, Kelly, I just redacted their surnames, Kelly and Paul encountered the defendant at the Walking Stick, during which the defendant made a derogatory statement about his own son, referring to him as a effing rhymes with maggot. During the same encounter, the defendant made an additional derogatory remark about another child to Paul. Okay, total asshole, this guy. On October 5th of 2024, members of the Douglas family, his in-laws, observed the defendant engaging in unusual behavior and that he appeared distant and quiet while at a party with the Douglas family. On or about October 8th of 2024, the Douglas family observed the defendant engaging in unusual behavior and making inconsistent statements. The defendant indicated that he intended to flee or leave the country. Okay, just one quick... October 7th of 2024 is when Christa died. This is October 8th. I'm just checking. I'm like, this is October 8th, right? We're following the timeline here. The day after, the defendant indicated he intended to flee or leave the country. Oh, okay. You see that, Judge? No bond is what it should have stated. Sorry about it. The defendant further stated that the situation was a setup, that he was being targeted. He needed to take care of himself by leaving. The defendant reiterated his intent to leave the country while also expressing concern for his children. That was after his wife had died and she was strangled, remember? On or about October 10th of 2024, the day before he was arrested, the Douglas family observed the defendant express a desire to leave Harris County, Texas, and to flee to South Carolina, stating that he planned to depart on October 12th of 2024. The Douglas family further observed that the defendant was reluctant to provide a key to his residence, to his in-laws. When the Douglas family attempted to have the children speak with the in-laws by phone, the defendant ordered them to leave the residence. On or about 2023 in San Diego, California, so this is going back now, the defendant had a sexual affair with someone called Anna. On or about April 20, or Anna, but I don't know, maybe A&A, Anna. On or about April 2025 to May of 2025, the defendant communicated with Anna. This was when he was out on bond, okay? Right? So he's out on bond and he reconnects with this Anna via numerous apps on the phone. In the communications, the defendant discusses plans to flee to Mexico and other countries while he's out on bond with his ankle monitor. The defendant stated that he could remove his GPS monitor and provide a detailed plan to do so. Did he ask Uncle Google or ChatGPT or who? Grok? Gemini? Claude? He probably asked Claude, didn't he? These are all AI. It's all AI I'm referring to. The defendant also discussed the possibility of marriage in order to obtain a new identity. The defendant also inquired as to whether she knew of a Mexican identity he could acquire to facilitate his departure from the country. Well, I'm sure she's going to testify, right? Godzilla from Tokyo said, "Gee, I sent you a surprise via Gmail. Hope it works. Thank you so much. I'll check it out later." Mark said he'd have done better seeking asylum in Canada, eh? Don't you know? Now, let's quickly look at, there's like 2 or 3 more documents. These are much shorter. This basically just says the offense. It says, in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, before me, the undersigned Assistant District Attorney of Harris County, Texas, this day appeared the undersigned affiant who under oath says that he has good reason to believe and does believe that in Harris County, Texas, Lee, Mungers, and Gilley, hereafter styled the defendant, heretofore on or about October 7th of 2024, did then and there unlawfully during the same criminal transaction intentionally and knowingly cause the death of Christa Gilley by applying pressure to Christa Gilley's neck and upper back, and intentionally and knowingly cause the death of an unborn child by applying pressure to Christa Gilley's neck and upper back while Christa Gilley was pregnant with the unborn child. Oh my word. It's even a bit like Chris Watts, eh? To allegedly murder your pregnant wife. Wow. So this is a motion for a proof evident hearing to deny bail for a capital offense. See, here they were trying to say, look at this one. The defendant is denied bail pending indictment. The defendant may be subject to bail after indictment upon examination of the evidence in such manner as may be prescribed by law. He was initially denied bail. Then he was indicted by the grand jury. He got the bond, $1 million bond, and he bailed out. And this one is also phrased the same way, just so you could see how that one is worded. So those are all the documents. That's what we have for today. I just want to see, is there any other clip or anything I didn't show? Nah, that's pretty much it. Yep, that's what we have for now. I will keep you posted. I hope he'll be back. I'm sure you don't want him back. Hey, Texas. But I'm sure he will be back soon because he's got to face the charges. You know, he's been charged with his wife and unborn child's murder. Go home, face the music, and let's see where he ends up, right? Okay. Jackie says, wait 1 minute. I think that means you probably got me the... Ooh. Oh, I should check it now. I see, I should check it now. Did I get it? Excuse me, hello. Just hold on 1 second. Can we download this?
Chief architect.
Let me just see if I got the... There's a clip. Hold on. Stay with me, everyone. People sending me clips. Excuse me. We'd like to download this. Freaking Google, don't be like that. There you go. There you go. Now we're talking. Okay, let's have a look at this. Thank you so much. Let's look at baby boy talking.
Consider myself the chief architect. We build software products. My name is Lee Gilley. I'm the founder of DocMo and now also Excel Engineering. I like to consider myself the chief architect. We build software products.
Oh, my word.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about your connection with Curio Collective.
I stumbled into it and I'm so grateful for it. You know, I office here right next to the Curio Collective in the downtown Canaan location, and everyone is just wonderful. It is a little bit like having, I have a small team, but it's kind of like I have some coworkers now. The community is wonderful. Well, of course, customers are always nice to have, but also to mentorship a little bit, just kind of peer discussion. Certainly when business is not going well, which we've had plenty of moments like that. Faith sure is important, so it's nice to have a community to support through that. What's very exciting for us is, so the short story of our timeline is we're a software consultancy. We build custom.
Is anybody feeling impressed, given the context of the situation?
Custom products in the Microsoft Excel environment. We have customers, Shell, Dell, Harley Davidson. So we've been doing a lot of Microsoft Excel, and that's all on the consultancy side, building custom software. We're now diversifying, enter the additional business name, Excel Engineering. Now, we're now diversifying into selling apps on the App Store. Most people don't know there's an App Store within Microsoft Excel. So we did a 4-month, I won't call it a battle, but it was a 4-month journey. My name is Lee Gilley. I consider myself.
Thank you so much for sending that. Oh my word. He does smell of arrogance, hey. He does. That's why the Italian authorities looked at him. Let's do a random check here. That one. Sir, come here. He's like, hi, I'm Belgian. My name is, Was he trying to bust out some French there or what? What was he trying to do? Stefan said, not impressed. You better stay. Yeah, he should have. He's pretty dumbass, eh? He could have just stayed in Canada, but never mind. We're not trying to give them tips, right? Oh, man. Southern Academy says, gee, I work in Excel every single day. I'm triggered now. Well, don't worry. Excel triggers me too. I don't like it. I don't like Excel spreadsheets. All these tax people need me to make spreadsheets. I don't like that. Tracy said he's really impressed and excited about himself. Yeah, he loves himself, loves to talk about himself. But just, what we can see so far. Anyway, so thank you so much for following this case with me. What a terrible case. Just look at her. Look at Christa. And everybody, if you look at, there's lots of clips where friends talk and family talks, and family made a statement. Some of the friends or neighbors talk, I showed you some of them. But they just say she was the sweetest lady. She was so nurturing. She loved her children. She loved being a mother. Like this guy. Oh my word. So I'll keep you posted on, what happens after the hearing, whether that's not today or tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be on May 8th, which is tomorrow. But if it's today, okay, I'll be checking the news anyway. I'm going to be checking all the time. If you see updates, if you see what's happening with this extradition, please let me know, because I'd like to keep an eye on this one for sure. His defense attorney sounds a bit optimistic, like the trial's still going to happen. I don't think so, sir. I think it's going to be delayed, okay? If Caleb Flynn's was delayed, Brendan Banfield's sentencing is delayed, all that, that's just in the works. I think this one could be delayed. They're still got to get his ass back home. Thank you so much for following this case with me. I will see you again very soon. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe.